Kcal News Mornings.
Good morning. Today is October 7th. Thanks for joining us on Kcal News at 5 a.m. I'm Chris Holmstrom. Kalina Estrinos is off. Here's some of the major headlines we're following for you this morning. Another 7-Eleven flash mob robbery with the store clerk attacked. We'll show you the video as the robbery went down. And it's been 1 year. Somber ceremonies and candlelight vigils marking 1 year since Hamas attacked Israel. We'll take you into the events in Southern California. Also, as we continue to count down to Election Day, here's what we're hearing from each candidate with just 29 days to go. But first, let's take a look at our next traffic and weather with Amber Lee. Amber, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
It was a beautiful weekend.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Really warm.
Yeah, it was.
But it wasn't bad. We're definitely looking at more of the low clouds and fog, and that's because of the heat that we're seeing inland.
Okay.
And so that's keeping a lot of our, beach communities, our marine layers, trying to keep it a little cooler. So here's a look at our next weather sky cam. This is our Long Beach camera. You can barely make out what you're seeing, and this is because that fog is really thick, and that's why we have a dense fog advisory this morning. So here's a quick look at our sky cam. We're waiting for the sun to come up. Now, as we head into the rest of the morning, you know the drill. We're going to slowly start to see the clouds clear away, especially for a lot of our inland communities. But unfortunately, some of our beach communities may struggle to clear. And it's all because of the way that high pressure system is keeping all our inland communities really hot and dry. And then because we have the ocean waters, and then we have all that cooler air that's mixing in with that hot air. That's why a lot of our beach communities stay under really foggy conditions right now. So you can see with our dense fog advisory, we do have visibility down to less than a mile in some spots. So give yourself some time. Drive slow, use those low beams, and then you can see we have another day of really hot conditions inland. 105 for the valleys, 99 for the Inland Empire and the high deserts. Well, coming up in my next weather forecast, I'll tell you about widespread cooling arriving here in Southern California, finally. All right, we're going to switch gears and take you over to the roadways where I'm showing you some foggy conditions. This is our 405 camera for next traffic, and you can see this is at Santa Monica Boulevard. So this is why, again, we have that dense fog advisory. Now, as we pull out a little bit more to show you on this Monday morning, everything looks pretty good for LA County. Not too much going on. We do have a stalled car to tell you about southbound 101 at Santa Monica Boulevard. All lanes are stopped here, so give yourself some extra time or just be aware of what's happening there. We also have another stalled car that's blocking the northbound 710 to the westbound 105 transition lanes. So otherwise, everything looks pretty good. You can see lots of green on the board, and the Inland Empire also looks pretty good as well. And then here's a live look at the 15 freeway in the Cajon Pass, where traffic is starting to pick up, but it's at least moving right along. It's going to take you about 31 minutes from southbound 15 to the 395 to the 215. All right, Chris, back to you.
Okay, Amber, thank you so much. Today marks 1 year since Hamas terrorists attacked and killed hundreds of Israeli citizens and took more than 200 people captive. The massacre triggered a year of deadly conflict, which has now consumed the Middle East. Kcal News correspondent Naomi Ruckham has the latest on where the war stands and one family's ordeal after several members were taken hostage.
The twins in particular, Emma, was taken by herself for 10 days.
For Alana Zajcik, October 7th, 2023 was the day her world changed forever. 1 year ago, Hamas abducted 6 of her family members into Gaza, including 3 young children.
It doesn't feel real still. I think I just went into autopilot after that and decided I had to fight for them.
Alana's female cousins and their little girls were released during a hostage deal last November. But her cousin's husband, David, remains in Hamas captivity.
There's so many of us suffering, Israeli and Palestinian.
Crowds gathered at the site of the Nova Music Festival Monday in remembrance of the victims. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary General says the humanitarian situation in Gaza is hanging by a thread. According to the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza, which does not differentiate between civilian and militant deaths, more than 41,000 Palestinians have died in the conflict, with millions more displaced. Now new fears of an all-out war. Israel launched a ground operation in southern Lebanon after strikes took out top Hamas and Hezbollah commanders there. Israel has also vowed to respond after Iran unsuccessfully targeted the country with hundreds of missiles last week.
Can an all-out war in the Middle East be avoided? It has to be. We really have to avoid it.
Still, a year later, Alana holds out hope for the hostages.
I'm never going back to a world